things in order for us to achieve our goals. But sometimes you don't have anybody to actually break things down, to be what we like to say real with each other. So when it comes to your academics, as a parent, you basically just rely everything solely on the teacher. And sometimes the teachers are right there with you, and sometimes they're not. And there's always like some kind of underlining, like, are they really getting what they need to get? You probably experienced that when you were a student. Like, hey, you probably had a teacher that was really awesome and you connected with that person. But then you have some of those teachers that you kind of feared because of their traditions, because of what they used to say. But now, it seemed like that person that a lot of people feared was their math teacher. So I want to kind of break down like the whole concept and the importance of math. Because a lot of you guys are like, why do I need to learn this? Why should I care? Because now you're thrown in a situation where you have to care. You need to pass a math class. Either it's Algebra 1, Algebra 2, maybe you have a child that just graduated 8th grade and they're going into high school, or maybe you're going back to school and then the only class that you need to pass is math. Because you knew for the longest time, you kept saying to yourself, you suck at math. Well, I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of what you can do to not suck at math anymore. Because I used to be the exact same way. So for those that don't know me, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of ACG Math Tutoring as well as Math by Audrey. So what I'm here is to help people to get over that feeling of I can't do math. And get it in a way before it starts turning into a phobia, and then you're passing it on to your child or anyone that's younger. So I want to kind of give you like a visual of like what's actually happening with your brain when it comes to math, or just the whole structure of math itself. So the easiest way, and I'm going to show my Picasso, maybe even Bob Ross, I'm going to draw you a happy tree. So when it comes to education, we have our soil. This is where like your knowledge is. This is where like all the information that you're getting. And the more enriched you are with the information, the better things are. But then you're going to have your tree. I know. You're like, ugh, that tree. But with all the things with trees, they have roots. And some people say, hey, the stronger the roots are, the stronger the tree's going to be. So when it comes to your roots, that's where your algebra, that's where your arithmetic comes from. Where you're adding, you're subtracting, you're multiplying, you're dividing, okay? Percents, fractions, all of the essentials are there. And then you get to the trunk of the tree. That's where your algebra is. So your algebra, that's when you're dealing with the equation of the line. That's where you're dealing with a lot of the unknown variables, your system of equations, your factoring, all of those things. The stronger you are with the algebra, the stronger your trunk of the tree is going to be. So then you can expand to all your different branches of math. So that's why you can go with your geometry. You can go with your calculus. You can also go with your pre-calculus, your trig. So this is what is really essential. If you have your foundation, your basis, if you have strong roots with the basic arithmetic, that will filter in and give you a good idea to have the basic parts of the algebra so you can advance into the other branches of math. Here's the whole thing. When you're trying to pass, say, your GED, your ASVAT, your Accuplacer, your TEAS test, your HESI test, You're trying to skip all of this and go straight to these. So if you don't have a good foundation, you're going to struggle with everything else. So when you're saying, well, I just can't pass this test. I've taken this test multiple times and I can't get that 31 that I need for the ASVAB. I can't get my 146 or 147 that I need for the math section of the GED. I just can't pass the math portion in order for me to be a nurse. It's not about the word problems. Math is not the problem. Math is the obstacle to get you where you want to go. But if your foundation is not strong, you won't be able to do all these. So when you guys come and DM me and you say, hey Audrey, I need to pass this test and I haven't been strong with math ever in my life, but I'm going to take it next week. So you're trying to learn the basic arithmetics, the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, decimals, whole numbers, integers, trying to get your distance, rate, and time, trying to get a lot of the word problems, plus the algebra, plus the geometry, because we need to find the area, the perimeter, the circumference, then the trig, a little bit of the SOHCAHTOA, which is your sine, cosine, and tangent. Then you're trying to learn all of this in 1 week. Need to be great at statistics. You don't have to be great at statistics, but thank you for mentioning statistics, because that should be up here as another branch. But it all depends on where you want to go, Marie. It's like, where do you want to go? So in order for you to do well on that test, regardless of which one it is, you have to be strong with at least a foundation. And if you're telling me that math is not my strong suit, so now let's tackle with that part. Okay? Oh, what do you need to be great at statistics? Okay? Basically everything. You need to know the basics. You need to know your algebra. You need to know mean, median, and mode. You need to know how to find standard deviations. You need to know how to conduct a proper test that's going to give you the results that you need. Okay, so if you're going to be a researcher, then you need to research what you need for the statistics. And I'm not trying to be cheeky. I'm just trying to be good. All right, taking notes? Awesome. Okay, so that's the problem. It's not so much that, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're stupid. No. There's something that happened in your past that when you were learning, possibly something down here, there was some kind of breakup. And it could have been COVID. It could have been someone called you dumb. It could have been a teacher called you out and said, how did you get that? That's a silly answer. And that scarred you. So now it's easy to say, I'm not good at math. All you have to do is just break these things down. Do I have online classes? MJ, I actually have books that will conduct you through. And I'll show you in a moment. Okay? So once we get the foundation down, and your foundation is not only just the roots, but it's also your strong trunk, then you can branch out into everything else and feel comfortable doing it. Okay, no problem. So if you want me to show you how I would break down a problem, just write the word yes in the chat, and then I'll get started. All I need is 3, and I will get started. Excuse me. Okay, so I got MJ with a yes. Okay, just need 2 more, and then I'll get started. Because if you have a child that just graduated 8th grade and they're going into 9th grade, and you're not too sure, okay, and you're not too sure that their math is strong enough, this is definitely the lie for you. All right? I know. Savor my masterpiece. All right? Okay, MJ, I'm going to do it for you anyway. Here we go. Because I know there's people that are like, yeah, I want to see. So, this is a situation that a lot of kids usually get some mistakes here and there. So I have a problem that we're going to evaluate. Evaluate generally means that you're going to be substituting some information in, and then we're going to be breaking some stuff down. So we have 3a to the third power minus 2 times the absolute value of b squared minus c, all over a times b minus c squared. When you look at this, how are you feeling? And I really want to know, how do you feel when you see a problem like this? Because this is part of the whole process of making that transformation from fearing math to I can do it. All right? Thank you, Sprinkles, with feeling scared. Thank you for that. Thank you for being honest. All right? Do you feel intimidated? Overwhelmed? Just don't know where to start? Does that sound anything like what you guys are thinking? Because where would I start? Yes, thank you. All right, very much so. Okay, good. Not to say good, but I'm going to help you. All the above. Thank you, JB. Okay, all the above. There. So this is what we need to do. We're going to break this down step by step. Very similar, Edgar. Very similar. Okay, especially with the math portion. Very similar, because they're touching on a lot of concepts up to Algebra 2 if you're looking at the Army, but if you're going into the Navy, they're going all the way up to Calc 3. All right, Calculus 3. So first thing what I would do, since they gave me numbers associated with these variables, I'm going to substitute them in to the original equation. So this is what happens. So we have our 3 then instead of the b, I'm going to put a place here. There's going to be a replacement with the a. There's a replacement with the b and the c inside. So wherever I see an a, I'm going to plug in a -2. So there was an a here, an a here. Wherever I see a b, I'm going to plug in a -3. So that means a -3 here and a -3 here. And lastly, wherever I see a c, I don't know why I write the c here, but it's supposed to be a 5 right there and a 5 right here. Okay? That's the first thing that I would do. So now, pushing it up, we want to break this down by using, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. PEMDAS. Okay, we probably have it all memorized like, oh my God, that's PEMDAS. Or if you're international, it's PODMAS, BODMAS. Okay, so we're going to take these things step by step. Now, I'm going to use the backhand side of my tree. And I'm going to start with my denominator because that's a little less intimidating. So we have -2 times -3 minus 5, and it's being squared. So if we go with PEMDAS, first step is my parentheses. So we're going to do what's inside the parentheses. So that means we have -3 and we have a -5. This minus sign acts as a negative with the 5. So if I think of it this way, I'm combining -3 with -5. When I combine, what operation am I doing? Am I adding or am I subtracting? If I'm combining things, put in the chat. If I'm combining things, am I adding or am I subtracting? Okay. Adding, thank you. Add, yes. Remember Owens, remembrant or rebrant. Adding, yes. Adding, JB adding. Solo, Mary, Z, yes. We're going to add. So when we add -3 and -5, you can think about my credit card. So I was in a -3. I used my credit card. Now I'm down to -5. So -3 and -5 combined, that's going to give me further down in the negative, which gives me a -8. Here you go. So we have our -8, and it's going to be squared. And now we bring down this -2. Okay? So now we don't need that part. We need to focus on this part. So we took care of the parentheses. The next one is the E, the exponent. What is being raised by an exponent? What is being raised by an exponent? What's being raised by an exponent? So in -8, good, -8, good, -8. So the 2 is the exponent, okay? So we got -8s, good. So let me cover this up for a second. So -8 squared. What do I get for a result for -8 squared? Okay, so ZG is telling me 64, okay? We have 64 or -64. Okay, pick one, Z. Okay, we got 64, 64, 64. KK, I see you with the 64. My can, I guess, is saying 64. All right, we got a -64. Okay, we got Misha with a 64, Solo with a 64. All right, I see you guys. Tail, I see you with the 64. Thank you. Company, I see you with the 64. Awesome. Now, I'm so happy that a lot of you guys are not saying 16 or -16, because we all know that -8 squared, that means, let me slide this over, -8 times -8. That's what -8 inside of a parenthesis squared means. A negative times a negative, this is the part that we all got to get. Yes, that's going to give me a positive, and it will be a positive 64. So what do we have to do next? What's our next step? Which makes it positive. There we go. We're going to multiply. Thank you, No. There we go. Sandra, we're going to multiply. Good, Slaughter. Appreciate you. So now we got -2 times 64. Now that will give us a negative. A negative times a positive will give me a negative. So now we need that. Yes, we're a -128. Good. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. 6 times 2 gives me 12. Put together, we have our -128. So that -128, that's your denominator. Okay, because remember, we did the bottom portion. That was our denominator. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to work our numerator. So I'm actually going to write it right on this lovely paper and go step by step. So we know we're supposed to do, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, from left to right. That's the part that gets a lot of people. So now if we're going to solve this one, where do we start? We have to look at the parentheses. And you're saying, well, inside each of these parentheses, we don't have anything. But when it comes down to the absolute values are considered parentheses per se. So that means, let me grab another sliver of paper, cover up. So now we can focus on the absolute value. So inside your absolute value, what should I tackle first? Should I do -3 and -5 and combine those two, then square it? Walk yourself through the process. Okay, walk yourself through the process. Okay, so no saying yes. Okay, nope. We have to do to square first. We have the exponent. We're going to do in parentheses. So we'll square first, then combine. We have Solo with yes. We have Owens with no. All right. So we have Sergio is telling me it's 4. So let's take a look. Remember, parentheses, I'm considering my absolute values as the parentheses. So I need to do my exponents first. So that means that -3 is being squared. Hey, Lynette, good morning. So we're looking at the -3 squared first. There you go, okay? So it's almost like this is not the 80s. Thanks to Madonna, we don't wear our bras outside of our clothes anymore. Okay, appreciate it. Love the fad. So we have our -3 being multiplied by -3. And -3 times -3, this will give us the absolute value of a +9. Then we're going to bring down our -5. So we're still in parentheses mode. Okay, so now that we're still in parentheses mode, we're going to combine what's going on in here. There you go, ZG. All right, is a positive. Correct, X Sparkle. See, look at you, you know. Yes. So right now we have 9 minus 5, which gives us 4. So we have the absolute value of 4. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you. So the absolute value of 4, just like I think it was Sprinkles that said with the absolute values, it's basically your distance away from 0. So if I think of 0 as my house and 4 is my friend's house, well, from here to here, it's like 4 blocks away. But I got another friend that's 4 blocks away, but in the opposite direction. But no matter what, the distance is still 4 blocks away from me. That's why absolute values are always positive. Okay? Yes, CG. Good. Okay, that's all right. But you made the correction. It's fine. Okay? Now, so now the absolute value of 4 is just going to be 4. So let me bring everything else down. Okay, so let me hide this part so we can focus. So now we're going to say the same thing. So we took care of our parentheses. We take a look. Now we got to deal with exponents. What's being raised by an exponent? Put that into the chat. What's being raised by an exponent? 6 and -2. No saying -2. Okay. Hey, Slim. Okay, Sandra saying -2. Good. All right. Only the -2. God's child. Hello, God's child. How are you? Saying -2 as well. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Well, but in algebra, we learned that the 3 isn't a real number. No, 3 is. I think you're thinking of radicals. Like you can't have a negative underneath a radical. Yeah, because this 3, that's cube. Okay. All right, so we have that -2. Thank you, Brenda. Lovely to see you. Okay. But you remember stuff. Look at you, Sparkles. I love that. Okay. So what is actually being raised to the third power is this -2. Not 3 times -2, and then you're going to cube it. You are cubing before you multiply. You have your exponents before multiplying or dividing. So now, -2 cubed, that's the same as saying -2 times -2 times -2. That's not going to give you a -6. What's -2 cubed? Okay. What's -2 cubed? Okay, Infusion, I see you with -8. S. Sparkles with 8. Sandra with -8. Owens with -8. Herbert with -8. Christine saying -8. Madeline -8. Ronnie -8. Mike -9. Disney -8. Don -8. Leja with 8. Okay, so we think about it. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. So right here, this gives me a +4. Now I'm going to take that other -2 and multiply it by that 4. So a positive times a negative will give me a negative, and 4 times 2 will give me 8. Okay? All right. When you're dividing, negatives will cancel each other out. Okay? So right now we're multiplying. Okay? So now we're going to multiply this -8, and I like to put parentheses around my negatives before I multiply them. So we took care of exponents. Boom. That's done. Let me bring this down. So now we're either going to do multiplying or dividing. No problem, Mike. I see you. From left to right. Okay? This is a crucial part, and this is why a lot of people get order of operations incorrect. Because of their forgetting about from left to right. So just because multiplication jumped out first, or jumped out first in this listing, but say like if this was division, then we would divide first. Whatever comes first from left to right. All right? So now we're going to multiply these two. So 3 times -8. Okay, Madeline's got that. Good. 3 times -8. Good. Z, I see you. Sparkles, I see you. Owens, I see you. Mike, I see you. Disney, I see you. Fusion, I see you. Okay? Really getting interactive. Yep. Who I missed? Brenda, I see you. Don, take a look at it again. So 3 times 8, that'll give me my 24. But since it was a +3 and a -8, my answer is always going to be negative. Madam, I see you. Thank you. All right, there you go, Don. I see you. Now, what's happening over here? We have a negative times 2, okay, from left to right, even though you're saying, oh, that's a minus sign. Still, minus signs act as negatives. So negative times 2 gives me a -2. And -2 times 4, there we go, Sophie. Hey, welcome back. That gives me my -8. There you go, Krishna. I see you. Z, I see you. Madam, I see you. Mr. Marthy? Yes, I see you. Sparkles, I see you. Good. So we have that -8. Okay, Brenda, I see you. Good. All right, so we're dealing with that -8. Okay, Lobes. My goodness, it's been a minute. So now we took care of the multiplication. There isn't any division. because we simplify. So this is gone. Now, watch your sign, Casey. Okay, Astro, I see you. Madam, watch your sign. Brenda, watch your sign. Z, I see you. Okay? So we have our negative 24 and negative 8. So we're combining these. There's no parentheses. So we're not multiplying. Because if we were multiplying, a negative times a negative will give us a positive. Right now, we're combining. And when we combine, we add. Okay? I'm adding to my debt. So when we have a negative 24 and we're basically adding a negative 8, so you owe me $24 and for some reason I loan you another $8, that means you still owe me. But this time you're going to owe me $32. Okay? Right. No, don't feel slow. Stop. Okay? Do not feel slow. Because basically you had the answer, you just had to make it negative. Okay? Stop. Because that's what we do. Oh, I'm slow. Oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I'm too old for this. Oh, I'm this. Stop. You're perfectly fine. So all this work that we just did, this is your numerator. So now let's put it together. We figured out our denominator was negative 128. We have our numerator that's a negative 32. So we're almost at the home stretch. So if I have negative 32, that's the results for my numerator. And then that negative 128, which is the results of my denominator, I know for sure that, a negative divided by a negative, that's what fractions are. Fractions is just division. That's all it is. Exactly, Angela. That's what we do. You don't look at the problem as one big whole scary monster. You take it into steps. Okay? So now, a negative divided by a negative, just like multiplication, if the signs are the same, your answer is going to be positive. So now, you're talking about another animal that a lot of us are like, oh, I'm freaking out because it's not a perfect whole number. That means I must have something wrong. No, fractions are numbers too. And as I said earlier, fractions is nothing but division. So here's the thing. There we go. So let's think. 32 and 128. Okay? If I break this down, look at the ones digits. They're both even. Now, if you know your multiplication and you know that, hey, if I have 4 32s, that will give me 128. Perfectly fine. But if you're taking the GED, the ASVAB, the Accuplacer, you can't use a calculator. See how they like to add that little resistance in it? Just put something in there, right? Yes. But just in case, if you're one of those people that I'm like, I don't know which one, well, since they end in even numbers, I know I'm going to use an even number to reduce it. So some people will be like, oh, well, I know I can reduce it by 2. All right. So if we take that 32 and we reduce it by 2, I know 32 halves is 16. Right? And if I take that 128 and I reduce it by 2, when I say by reducing it, I mean dividing it by 2. That's what I mean. And this will be what? 64? So now you're reducing it in a way that looks somewhat familiar. This looks scary because you had a 2-digit over a 3-digit number. And you're like, oh, dear sweet baby Jesus, I can't do this. But now, by reducing it, taking it in half because they're both even numbers, now I got my 16 and 64. Well, knowing my basic math, I can reduce this by 8. 16 divided by 8, that gives me 2. And 64 divided by 8, that gives me 8. Now I really can simplify it. Now it's not so scary. Yes, I'm seeing a lot more 1/4. I'm seeing a lot more 1/4. That's awesome. Because now we're looking at numbers that's not so scary. So I can reduce this by 2 again. 2 divided by 2, that gives me 1. 8 divided by 2, that gives me 4. So if you saw that they had a common digit of 32 from the beginning, that's awesome. But if you ever get in a situation like this, try to see if they're both even, divide by 2. Maybe even divide by 4. But I know if I take a look at this 2 times this 8 times this 2 right here, that will give me 32. Okay? So this is what I like to do. Simplify. Simplify. So I remember when we started in the very beginning, okay, I'm going to try to do, on the very, very beginning, when you first saw this problem, a lot of you guys told me I was scared. I think Sparkles, that's what you had. I appreciate you reaching out for that. Felt overwhelmed, didn't know where to start. And then once we started, a lot of you guys really took it and you went forward. And that's what you need to do. But you need for someone to kind of break it down. So now you're like, oh, I can do this myself. Yes, it is PEMDAS. All right? That you can do it yourself. And yes, you can do it. Because once I got you guys rolling with the substitution and then telling you instead of trying to solve this whole entire thing right here all at once, take it piece by piece, you guys took it and ran with it. And that's awesome. Okay? Not a problem. Because this is what I do. Because I know there's people out here that the only thing that's stopping you from making the change in your life is because of a test. And the only way that you're like, I want my child to get a D at least. How about not shooting up a little higher? Because your child can learn more. I've seen it. Through my tutoring service, I have seen kids come to me, failing grades, broken. Had one crying hysterically, like the ugly cry with the snot bubbles, all that. Once we got ourselves cleaned up, after about a month, she started to be a little more confident. Because she's like, wait, I know that I have Miss Audrey that I can ask questions. And she's not going to judge me. That's the one reason. Okay? And you got a D. Because a lot of it, and I'm going to be truthful, Angela, thank you for saying that. Because I'm not going to pin that. I'm going to say thank you for saying that. Because a lot of you guys missed my lovely Bob Ross impersonation right here. What's happening is not because they're lazy. It's because this part right here, the roots of the tree, that's a tree. I know, work with me. So the roots of your tree, there may be knowledge around, maybe the soil, maybe some of the people that you had, maybe your child had a teacher that was there that was awesome, and then all of a sudden they left, or they got sick, or we had COVID. And then all of a sudden you have multiple teachers coming in, and you had multiple subs, and you just didn't have consistency. So your soil wasn't so enriched. And then that means your basic skills weren't met when it came to the arithmetic. The adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, the fractions, the decimals, the percentage. Okay? Duh. And that's fine. No, that's not being selfish. Okay? That's not being selfish. Because I've met some teachers are awesome, and there's some I'm like, sweet baby Jesus, why are you here? So when it comes down to you're missing your roots, it's going to affect the trunk of your tree. Is it going to be nice and full enough for you to tackle what's called algebra? Or is it going to be strong, a little stringy and a little thin? Like if you lean on it too hard, it's going to break. So that's why we have to get these fundamental stuff together in order for you to do the algebra, in order for you to expand to the other branches of math. That's why we need to basically take things step by step. But it's hard when you have 40 kids in the classroom. I actually used to have 41 kids in the classroom. That was the most I've had when I was in there. I was a classroom teacher for 22 years. I'm an online tutor for the last 6. Just one more week from completing my 6th year. So these are the things that I would do with my students. But I know I was a power of one. And I know a lot of people always say this to me. I wish you were my teacher. You make it so much easier than my teacher. I like how you explain it. I really feel that I can actually get this thing called math down. Where were you all my life? You were in the womb. Okay? So, and that's what it is, Sparkles. Because of that, I'm going to have to pin this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to pin this comment. Because I know you're not by yourself. Scared of going in math because of your algebra teacher. It could be one person that he or she knows the math, but just didn't know how to break it down to the students. Because guess what, guys? We all don't learn exactly the same. Hi, are you shocked? Are you surprised? Okay. You're taking welding classes, you forgot a lot of math? Yes. And there's a lot of the algebra component into those welding classes. There's a lot of basic arithmetic. There's a lot of fractions. Okay? Okay, they're sending off to geometry. Yep. But here's the thing. When he goes next year in geometry, there's a lot of algebra. See? Geometry is a branch from algebra. If your algebra skills are not that great, you'll be okay with the shapes, but when they start adding in algebra, and I'm going to show you an example of that, it's going to be a struggle. So let's see if we can nip that in the bud this summer. Okay? I'm not trying to steal people's summer. I'm not trying to steal people's time, but let me show you an example of one that I'm talking about. Okay? And this will be my second problem for today, and only. Puts too much pressure on us because we're in the 8th grade doing 10th grade math. And that's the thing. When you're doing advanced math and you're in an advanced class, everyone thinks you're a genius. But guess what? Geniuses are also on the same spectrum. You're just on the other side. You need assistance as well. And a lot of people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, you're just naturally smart. Awesome, great. No, you're still a kid. Sorry, no insulting. But you're still in the 8th grade. Yes, I may be able to do advanced math, which is great because now you're finding the patterns. But don't assume that they don't need assistance. Okay? Yes, very confusing. Exactly, God's child. Because it took me a long time to savor it. So let me show you a situation here. We have a triangle with one side that's extended out. And if you notice, we have what's called vertices. We got A, B, C, and D. Okay, so D is a point. But what we notice, we have two angles here, angle A and angle B, that is being represented by an expression. So, just to give a little background, I want to see how many of you guys will do. If I add up the angles of a triangle, How many degrees does that? How many degrees is that? If I add the angles up of a triangle, how many degrees is that? Okay, Crest is saying 80. B, okay, 180. There we go. I think you missed the one. I was like, no, I missed the one. I got you, Crest. 180 Linus, 180 JB. How are you, JB? 180. The Sparkles, 180. Okay, Sherry, 180. GED Explainer, 180. Two Fly. The same 180. Brenda, 180. Yes. Now, the sum of the interior angles is 180 degrees. But we're given two of them. But they didn't give us a definite degree. They gave us expressions to represent. And they also gave us another angle. This exterior angle right here, ACD. And they're saying that this exterior angle right here is representing 142 degrees. These two angles that they're giving us, they're called remote interior angles. And this is something that you're going to see, I want to say first semester. Yeah, first quarter actually. So remote interior, I'm going to say int angles. Now, the thing about remote interior angles, they equal your exterior angle. Okay? So some people will say, we could take this one of two ways. And I'm going to show you both ways. Okay? What grade? This is geometry. So some people are taking geometry in 8th grade. I actually have a student taking geometry in 7th grade. And then some people, normally, a good majority will take geometry like their 9th or 10th grade. So I don't like to tell them what grade because it depends on the kid. You know, every district is what? Over the summer? Okay. All right, Miss Sparkles, make sure you reach out to me. Okay, I'm definitely going to reach out to you because I have something that can help your child, especially with the organization of it. Okay. So now, when we have these remote interior angles, they equal your exterior angle. Another way that you can do it is right here, we have a line. And a line is also 180 degrees. Does anyone remember what these type of angles right here are called? It begins with an S. You need help? Make sure you message me, World of Love. Make sure, okay? Just go ahead and shoot me a message like, hi, Audrey, it's me. Don't just say hi, but say, hi, Audrey, it's me, okay? Yes, Ashanti, good job. Yes, straight angles are also called, yes, Misha. Good, Sherry, good. Supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles, supplementary begins with an S. If I draw a line segment from each of the endpoints, it turns into an 8. This is how I remember about supplementary angles, because supplementary angles are 180 degrees. So if I wanted to find the angle of this angle, I can do it this way. So if I had 180 degrees minus 142, that will give me 38 degrees. Let me put it in red. Okay. So now this is one way you can do it. Because remember, I told you there's multiple ways of doing it. Once you do that, you could cover that up. Don't worry about the extension because we want to find the measure of the angles. So we said earlier, if I add those three angles up, it should equal 180 degrees. So now let's do it. So we have our angle A, which is our 5x plus 12 plus angle B, which was 9x minus 10 plus angle C, which we found that's 38 degrees, and we know it needs to equal 180 because the angles of a triangle, the interior angles of a triangle, the sum of them is 180 degrees. With revision, okay. So Charlotte, make sure you message me, okay? Follow me and message me. Message me right now, okay? Since it's fresh in your brain, please. Because I'm here to help, but I also have services, okay? Now, here's the algebra. You're sitting there saying like, oh, 1 minute we were just working on a triangle. And triangles are shapes and geometry has shapes. But guess what? We still have to work on the algebra. Okay, areas, circles, yep, I got you. So when we take a look, let's combine like terms. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let's combine like terms. So when we take a look, I know it's going to get blurry for a second. Just try to clear up a bit. We have our 5x and we have our 9x. They're both on the same side of the equal sign. And they're like terms we can combine. The other set of like terms is this positive 12, this negative 10, and the positive 38. Those are like terms. Okay? Since you graduated college? Well, welcome, Dad. Wait. So now we have our 9 plus 5, like Meh said. Meh is saying that we have 5x. 5x plus 9x gives me 14x. Because they're like terms and we were able to combine them. So now over here we have 12 plus negative 10. So if I have $12 and I spent $10, that means I have $2, right? And then that $2 plus the 38, that will give me 40. We bring down the equals 180. Could I have lined them up better? Of course I could have. All right. So now we are no longer dealing with that top portion. Now we're looking at the x. Now we're trying to solve. What do we do next? Okay, Charlotte, thank you. What do we do next? Okay, subtract the 40. Good. Subtract the 40. Thank you, Shante. Okay. I want you to see it step by step. So, positive 40, negative 40 is 0. If I had $40 and I spent $40, now I'm broke as hell. So I don't need to bring down that 0 because it keeps reminding me that I'm broke. So what do? We see what else we have left over. We still have this 14x to bring down. So now over here we have 180 minus 40. That gives me 140. Okay. How would I know to subtract 40? Good question, Angelo. Since it's adding 40, when you're solving equations, you always do what's called the inverse. So the opposite or the inverse of addition is subtraction. Okay, so that's how you would subtract 40 on both sides. Okay, thank you. I don't know, blank space. Yep, so we're always going to do those inverse operations. Just like 14x, that's 14 times x. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we are trying, when you're solving the equation, the goal is to get the variable by itself. All right? So you have your x is equal to, now take a look, 140 divided by 14. It seems like right here, they're exactly the same. So you have your 14 divided by 14, that gives you 1, and the 0 comes down. So x is equal to 10. Okay? But is that my official answer? So for those that just came in for the solving part, yeah, that looks great. Okay? That looks great. But here's the thing. What was the question? Find M, a crazy sign, B. You know what this translates? Find the measure of angle B. A lot of people, you haven't seen geometry since you were a fetus. Now you're trying to take a test and you're like, what's this M with the swooshy sign and the B? Yes, Ashanti, that's it. So we need to find the measure of angle B. So I'm going back to the figure. Here's my angle B. So now the expression is 9x minus 10. So we take the 10 that we got for the x, and we're going to substitute it for the x in the problem, because this is our measure of angle B. So 9 times 10, remember, multiplication comes before addition or subtraction, from left to right. Okay, order of operation does not go anywhere. So that's how you get your 90. Minus your 10. So the measure of that angle is 80. And do not forget, if you're looking for an angle, you have to put your units down for geometry. Okay, you have to put that unit down, which is 80 degrees. Yes. All right. Okay. So you see how it plays out. This is how it all stems together. And these are the things that you're probably saying, I wish my teacher told me this. They wanted to, but they have curriculums that they have to uphold. Okay? That's why my fake Bob Ross picture hopefully makes sense for you. No problem, Angela. Angela, make sure you reach out to me. So if anything, if you like how I do this, this is the reason why I need for you guys to solidify your roots. I need for your roots to get strong. In order for your roots to get strong, that means you need to have some knowledge. You need rich soil, rich with nutrients. And that's the reason why I created Algebra at Your Pace. Okay? And mow the backyard. Yeah, I'm the same way, dead weight, because my backyard is starting to look like like the Amazon back there. But I know it's going to get hot. But hey, I'm just going to sweat it out. Been teaching elementary math for years, going to secondary, and I remember more than I thought. Yes, do not fear it. Now, here's my thing. I basically took everything that I see with the GED preps, the ASVAB prep, because a lot of the math is basically the same. The TEAS test, if you're taking the Accuplacer, or even if you're trying to prep for the Praxis, because we're trying to solidify or trying to improve our foundation. Okay? So what I did was I created a 10-book series. And it's not just a regular old workbook. Let me move you guys back for a second. Okay? What I do is I have recordings for certain things. So say for this example, positive and negative fractions. You scan the QR code and it takes you directly to a listing of videos. Okay? So this particular video. And then what happens is you're going to write down your notes. Then I give you some practice problems. So I give you some space to write down your practice problems as well. And then on the other side, you got extra practice. Okay? Yep, it can help. Definitely help with the itch. That's what our GED is. any kind of high school equivalency. Okay? If you're struggling with the basics and you need a refresher on how to do certain things, this can also help you with the ACT. I have given this to a lot of my students, and they actually, one raised her score up by 4 points. I know, I was like loving this. Okay? So, you could purchase the physical book because it is on the A, and you're probably saying, what the hell is the A? You know, this, can't say that word here. But you can purchase it on the A, but the thing is, it's more expensive. The reason why, I use color, and also my books are thicker. But I do have e-versions of these books, digital versions. So not only are you working on items, and you're also getting practice problems just to solidify what you just learned. And at the end or on the back of them, I give you the answer keys. So you don't have to go searching. So this is properties of exponents. Then we have square roots. And after the square roots, I give you a quiz. Now, these quizzes, step by step. But then I also, unlike most workbooks, I give you the resources. How about the rules of integers? How about multiplying and dividing? I'm going to ask that for you, Charlotte. If anything, take pictures of it so you can send it to me. Okay? But if you have it, take pictures of it and send it to me. All right? So this is what everything's in. Okay? And then I also give you flashcards so you can practice. So we got to bring back our lovely little flashcards. So for example, here's one side. I just basically took my cards. I still have my old laminating machine. But I took a card and then I try to solve it. Then flip on the back, I'll be able to get the answer. So to basically solidify, what am I learning? Instead of, hey, I just want to watch a video. Hey, I want to get a PDF. And for some reason, I just can't remember or understand. So not only do I have this, I put little bundles together because I understand financially things get kind of tight. But also, let's talk about functions. Hey, order of operations, ratios, proportions. That's in volume 2. Okay, you'll get more of your word problems. You get more of your, okay? So you'll be able to not only have someone walk you through everything step by step, but also give you something to practice. So what I'm giving is, all right, Audrey, so where do I start? Again, just like how we did the problems, where do I start? Now, if I was buying these on the A, each of these books are like $24.99. Why? Because it's thicker than a Snicker, and I use color. But we don't have $24.99 for each one. So what you could do is buy them individually, and I have them at $12.99 each. But as an ebook, everything that I get in this physical book is going to be in that ebook. I just send you the files. But some people just don't want to buy the whole thing, which is great. You can. There's 10 books to it. But for the instructional piece, you need a part to practice with. That's why I developed the practice exams. So basically 6 full-length tests, 35 questions. So now you need to practice the way that you're going to test. You need to sit down, block everybody out. I love you, mwah, mwah, mwah. Leave me alone. Give me an hour. Give me 45 minutes if you want to. And you sit down and you do problems. Don't look at the answer key while you're doing it. Okay? You're given sections of problems. There is 6 of them. Each of them have 35 questions. 35 times 6, that's 210 questions. Okay? I was doing some problems with a couple of them. All right? Be super helpful. Yep. So this is my thing. This is what I call as my summer starter. So the summer starter, you'll get the first 2 books of my Algebra at Your Pace, plus the practice books, okay? And you're given access to me for reassurance. Not as tutoring, but as you go through, there's going to be times you're going to get stuck. And that's another thing that a lot of programs don't give you. What happens if you get stuck? So what I do is I designate a day, and usually in the evening, I'm on the East Coast because I know some people have to work, that they can come and ask me Q&A questions just to get unstuck. And all this for $42. Okay, $42 just to get all this situated. So now, these aren't the only books I have, because I told you this is a 10-book series. So I know this is just the beginning, just to get you started. Now, if you want to take more advantage of things, this is my whole list. I'm being as transparent as I can be. All right? So the summer starter, so that's the practice book. That's these 2 books, as well as the reassurance. Okay, so you can ask questions. That's at $42, originally $70. Now, if you want to continue on and to get the volumes 3 through 6, that's the foundation. So volumes 3 through 6, that's with your solving equations. 1-step, 2-step, multi-step equations. Anything linear. Hello, my GED and my high school equivalency people. This is where all your 4-point questions are. This is the home. Okay? How do you get access to it? Once I end the live, there is going to be a link in my profile. Click on that, and that's how you can get access to it. Okay? So anything dealing with graphing, slope, equation of line, okay? All listed in here for you to practice on and for me to give you the guidance you need. Then volume 5 and 6 are combined. It's dealing with your inequalities, your system of equations, system of inequalities, and also absolute value. That's your foundation system. Now, if you want just all the books, I'll have all 10 books. So that's going to include factoring. That's going to include radicals, rational functions, the geometry. So that is your dealing with area, dealing with perimeter, circumference, volume, surface area. Then you have your statistics, your mean, median, mode, and range. Also your standard deviation, your scientific notation. Okay, also, I know all these nations at the end. Combination, permutation, okay, probability. All of that is in the complete book. And I'm selling that at $115. That's all 10 books. And that includes the practice book. All right. But if you want my video support system, that was the other thing I forgot to tell you about the starter. I will give you the video breakdown. Okay. Oh, sorry. When it comes to, I know, let me clean myself up. When it comes to like all the extra practice problems, there's times that you may see, okay, I see the answer back here, but how did she get that? Like say for number 4, how did I get it down to 2/5? I have a video recording of me breaking down each and every one of these. So you're not only going to be you're not by yourself. Physically you will, but then I will be here to help you. So looking at the video recordings, you're like, oh, that's how she got that. Now I'm okay. Maybe I don't have to go and buy her or get her as a tutor because now I got resources to help me get from point A to point B. Okay? So that, for just volume 1, is in the summer starter. hence the word starter. So now you know where you can actually physically start and you can get moving. But if you want basically every book that I have with the practice book, and I'm not leaving alone my ASVAB people, because I also have a math practice book for my ASVAB people. I'm going to throw that in for the ultimate one so you can practice up, especially from those arithmetic reasoning. Arithmetic reasoning is basically word problems, my dears. Okay? All of these additional problems plus the video support. So now you're going to get the video recordings of not just volume 1. Okay, this is the video support system. You're not just going to get volume 1, you're going to get all of my books. You're going to get a video recording of all the problems of all the books. All of these, and this, and this. All the video recordings of me breaking down each and every single solitary problem. Yep, step by step. Okay, problem like this, I'm showing you step by step, just like how I did for the problems that we did for the example. Okay, you see how I do things step by step. Now, the cost of that one is $157. So this is the Mecca, and you still get the reassurance. I still give myself time. I don't want to call it an office hour. It's really just a half an hour because it's just a check-in. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can just be like, oh, I got a question. I got stuck here. Awesome. Thank you, Audrey. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. That's it. Okay? All right. How much is the ASVAT itself? It is $15.99. Okay, message me Fusion if you just want just to practice. I can give that to you as well. Okay. So if any of these, if you're thinking about the bundles, if you don't know where to start, start here. Okay, start here. If you just want the practice books, hey, message me. Okay, message me. Message me what it is, like, hey, Audrey, I saw your live. I'm interested in blank. Or, hey, Audrey, I saw your live and I really want to do blank. Okay? So now, here's my last bit and I'm about to end the live. Let me actually talk to you like human beings. Allergies are going crazy. There we go. Hi, how you doing? All right, so now that you watched this video, and all of a sudden my nose is running, weird, sorry, excuse me. All right, so now you watched my video, you saw me break down stuff, you see all the stuff that I'm selling. I also have tutoring available, all right? Hey, Chucky Ducky. So now, what's your plan? Because after this live is over, what are you going to do? You're probably going to watch some more TikToks. You're going to watch some more cat videos. You're going to watch some more things. But you got inspired because you're still here. There's 28, well now 26 of you. What are you going to do? What's your plan? So I really want to basically say this to you. I'm very blunt and I'm very honest. Math is not the problem. Math is an obstacle. And an obstacle, you can go around. You've gotten around so many obstacles in your life, you can't believe it. You learned how to walk, you learned how to talk, you learned how to eat, you learned how to tie your shoes, okay? And we were tying shoes, if you're my age, before Velcro was even invented, okay? You're studying for the math test? Good. But now we need to know how to study. It's not good enough just watching the videos and taking like screenshots of me doing the work. How are you going to apply this? Oh, I'm going to study for 3 hours. How? What are you going to study? Are you going to study or are you going to memorize? There's a major difference about that. So if it's something that you need someone to help guide you, and this system is a guiding, so it will help you with from the very beginning, talk about the different points or different types of numbers, all the way up to where we're going with the trig, okay, with the ratio, the radicals, functions. All right, got to do with practice. Get them all together because I need help. Okay, perfect. So, if anything, if you're not sure what your plan is, because you say you want to take the test, but what are you doing to get yourself ready and prepared for that test? Just doing random worksheets? Because if you ever think about it, a worksheet wasn't originally designed to be the main focus of instruction. Worksheets were used to practice. Let me give you some additional practice. That means that initial instruction was given first. So if you're not sure what your plan is, hey, say it to me. Message to me. All I know is I want to take this test and I don't know what the plan is. Then we need to brainstorm and figure out a plan for you. All right? So, is like the trig? Okay, I'll show you. It'll DM me. Yes. So, definitely DM me. Definitely follow me. I might be on later on tonight. I'm not too sure yet, depending on how much I survive conquering my Amazon jungle in my backyard. But if anything, definitely message me. Message me, what is your plan? Because I know my plan is once I shut this live off, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to make sure my cat is still alive because I haven't seen her in a minute. And then I'm going to come back on to see how many people have messaged me their plans. How many people have messaged me what their next steps are. All right? So I will definitely see you guys. Have a great day. If it's a lot of with the algebra, because I know that's usually getting them ready for the ISEE. I think the ISEE has like Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, if I recall correctly. So yeah, a lot of these concepts aren't going to be listed in the Math SEE. All right. But this was fun. It was fun, B. I'm so glad you guys stayed around, stuck around, and just shared the love. All right. So, ending the live. If I don't see you, have a nice day. I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. If not, maybe I might sneak by tonight. Take care. Bye now. And it doesn't want to end. It's like, no, you don't want to end the live. Yes, I do. I got work to do.